Okay, hey everybody, Sue here from She Sells by Sue. And normally I come to you from the car, just talk to you as I'm driving around. But last week I had gone to Huntsville. My husband came with me on a sourcing trip. And it was a little too weird to be talking on YouTube while he's driving. So I missed that opportunity. And then, hey Marie, nice to see you and Zaxby's and Does Pac-Man. Hi everybody. Um, so then over the weekend, I was driving using the Rev as I was sourcing. And hey, everybody, I'm so excited to see people here. I just thought I'd be sitting here talking to myself. But be easy on me because I've never gone live before. As you can tell from that horrible picture, I'm sitting there reading and it says, smile, this is going to be your picture or something like that. And I'm going, what? It just came out the weirdest picture. But anyway, I'll learn these things as I go. Hey Gina, hey Junk Trader, hey Drummer, 24 Picker, Ron Sears. Oh my gosh, I can't believe all these people are here. Okay, so yeah, so I was driving the RAV over the weekend and using okay, so normally, like I said, I would video from the car. And I was driving the RAV over the weekend sourcing, and I realized when I listened back, it's so loud in the RAV versus the truck. So I just decided that I would try and go live one time, and here I am. So what I wanted to talk about tonight was just some tools that I use. A lot of times we get questions on the things that we use in our business. So if most of you don't know already, I usually say I'm like 90% Amazon and 10% eBay, but honestly, since Christmas, I have just let my eBay store just die out. I have plenty to list. I have talked about hiring somebody to do the listing for me, but haven't gotten to that yet. And what I thought I would do was we're supposed to be going away to the mountains for a few days. And I thought I might take some pictures. We're supposed to do it to get away from work, but I thought I might take pictures here. And then since it's supposed to be raining the whole time we're up there, just maybe spend a few hours working on some listings. Maybe I can do it in the car, driving up there and driving back. Who knows? But I need to get it started a little bit. So I will be working on that. And I'm still considering, using somebody to do listings for me. I've talked about, no, not going to Gatlinburg, up to Blairsville area. Um, yeah, it's North Georgia, basically. Sometimes we go from there up to Highlands, North Carolina. We'll hop up there and go to lunch, or we've been to the Dillard House up there. Hey, Money for Mars. Anybody else I missed? Jane. Excited to see so many people here. Like I said, be easy on me because I've never gone live before. I have gone to Asheville. It's beautiful up there. I did a sourcing trip one time last year, and I went. Sometimes I'll do the Knoxville area. Hey, Caney Creek and Julie. Sometimes I'll do the Knoxville area, and then sometimes I do Charlotte. And a while back last year, I decided to do Knoxville and then drive through Asheville and over to Charlotte. That was a really long trip, though, because I stop a lot and shop a lot. Hey, Heather's Place. So it was, yeah, a really long trip. And when I go, normally I'm on my own, and my husband will be, uh, talking to me every night, saying, "When you coming home? When you coming home?" Marie, I'm not really sure how to do the mods thing. I don't know. I'll ask Scott about it and get a few for next time. If just ignore any trolls. I don't think I'm that popular. I don't know if I have any trolls yet or not. All right, so now down to business. So I was going to talk about some tools and just some different things that I use. Um, no, my husband does not like to shop. Just Pac-Man. He doesn't really help me in my business. I will get him to go. Um, I will get him to go to the post office for me. Pick something up on occasion. Hey, honey, I need some boxes while you're out. Will you get me some boxes? But he is just not really. Yeah, he's not really into reselling. I'm looking 24 picker. I clicked on the 3 buttons and I don't see any options. So we'll just have to work on that next time, I think. I wish my lighting down here was a little better. Hey, Mary Beth. I I work in my basement. You can probably see. We finished off this room somewhat, but I don't have a ceiling up here. And I had gone away on a sourcing trip and I begged my husband to ship something on eBay for me. Usually my son will come over and do it for me, but he thanks junk trader and no floaties, hey. Um what happened is it was so dark down here and I work down here all the time and I never really paid attention to it. So I I had asked my husband and he said he would ship something for me. So he calls me back that night and he goes, "How do you see down there?" So after I got back home, I just had two little I don't know, just those two little lights that come with most houses or whatever, with one light bulb in it. And it's a pretty big room. It's probably 18 by 12 feet, something like that, 24 by 12 feet. And so anyway, we went out and bought these LED lights that are super bright and I love them, but they're not great for YouTube. They just kind of shine on me and in my glasses. So we'll see if we can figure something out later if I keep doing this. Okay, now down to business. So one of my favorite things I use for the eBay business is the easy auction tracker. So I don't know how everybody keeps track of their inventory and their sales and everything. I used to do everything on spreadsheets when I first started, including with Amazon as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the easy auction tracker, it costs $50 a year. I actually haven't bought it for this year yet, so I don't think it's gone up from last year, but it was $50 a year the last 2 years that I've bought it. Um, so it'll go back 3 months and pull, um, your records from eBay. So I would suggest if you think about buying it to go ahead and buy it in, before the end of March, because that way you can pull everything from this year. Hey, Land Shark Picker. So you just click a button in the spreadsheet. First you have to download it, and then you have to give it permission through eBay to be able to pull your information for you. But it'll pull down everything for you. It'll pull down your sale, each individual fee that you've paid, your PayPal fees, all that kind of stuff. And then there is a space for you to go in and fill in your COGS, your cost of goods, and then also the exact amount that you paid for shipping. So it makes it really easy at the end of the year. Like I have been using a CPA and I just pulled my records and I literally just showed him the totals for the year. It totals everything. It tells you, once you've put in your cost of goods and your shipping, it'll tell you exactly what you made on each item and it keeps a running total for you. And I just go in every month or every couple months because, like I said, my eBay sales are not giant. I actually had a pretty good Q4 with eBay, but that's just a really, really helpful tool. And then, of course, I have used Pirateship myself for the shipping. A lot of times I'll just check, you can, once you go in and set up Pirateship and you connect it to a credit card. I don't believe somebody made a comment the other day about that it was pulling $10 from PayPal every time, but I have my credit card connected to it, and it's always just pulled the exact amount for me. So you just go in and you set up Pirateship, and then in 2 minutes you're set up and you get it set up. Again, you have to give permission to eBay to move the information over, and then you can just click. You just open up Pirateship. You can click on a button, and it pulls over your eBay sales. So what I'll do too is I will sometimes check and see how much it's going to be on eBay or how much it's on Pirateship, and decide from there which one I want to use. Most of the time, I just go with Pirateship. I feel like I don't have to pay the PayPal fee on the shipping through Pirateship, and it's just real easy to use. Another thing I liked about Pirateship was if like Q4 I might have sold 4 of the same toy, and it will. Okay, Landshark Picker is saying you can use your PayPal debit on Pirateship. So it will remember that same toy and put in the weight and the box size. Yeah, Heather's Place. If you just go in and link it to your eBay, it'll just pull it right to your eBay. Once you pulled it to your eBay, you don't have to choose that You can look it up and see how much it's going to be and go back um, to eBay if you want to. Okay, so let's see. The other thing I like about Pirateship is, around Christmas time I was shipping some of my own stuff. And previously I used to do some fulfillment for a person. Actually, that right there, that stack right there, I still have a bunch of her stuff that I need to sell or get back to her. She lived in Australia, so I used to do shipping for her from here. Anyway, um, but it costs $10 a month to use stamps.com, and the rates weren't fantastic, but I liked it because every once in a while I wanted to ship something for myself, and you can't really use eBay unless you sell yourself something. So that's what I loved about Pirate Ship, because at Christmas time I just shipped all my own packages too. So you can do an individual item, or you can ship your eBay items. So that was great. I really like Pirate Ship for that as well. Um, I also have a subscription to Merchant Words, and that will just you can type in something that you're trying to sell, and it will give you a list, um, the most frequently searched words in that category, or using that word, and other combinations of that word. Um, I use that for eBay as well as updating listings on Amazon. Like sometimes I bought, like, the first example that this happened was I bought a oh, okay, sorry, Ron is saying that you can also buy your own packages on PayPal, which I did not know that. I know you can purchase shipping through PayPal, but I never thought about that. So um yeah, be sure to compare Pirate Ship to eBay. That's exactly what I do. And like I said, once you pull it up on Pirate Ship, you can look and see what the price is there, and you can look and see what the price is on eBay. Just because you've pulled it into Pirate Ship doesn't mean you're forced to use Pirate Ship. Okay, so sorry that I feel like I'm jumping around all over the place here. Hope you're keeping up with that. So on Merchant Words, okay, the first time I ever used it for Amazon, I had bought this puzzle, and at the time that I bought it, I don't know, it was maybe 100,000 rank or something. And then just little by little by little, the price, or I'm sorry, the sales rank had gone up, and I just wasn't selling. And I had 5 or 6 of them. So I went into the edit and I edited keywords. And I ended up selling all of them within probably a month. I mean, it takes a little while to get, I don't know what you call it, ranked with those keywords or whatever. But so that was really helpful. And, so I do use Merchant Words for that as well. I think I pay $9 a month for that. I got it through Mommy Income through their link. And so you get it a little less expensive that way. I don't know how many of you watch Mommy Income, but I've been watching them for a couple years, and I've gotten a lot of good information from them and their Facebook group as well. Okay, so then a few other things for eBay that I use is some apps for garage sailing. Okay, this one is GSALR, Garage Sailor, I guess is how you I'm just trying to show you I'll show you what it looks like when you're using it. So that's the garage sales in my area for this weekend, or estate sales too. And what it does is it pulls from Craigslist. So that's sort of the menu there, but I wanted to kind of show you so it's this little app right there. Oops, not Scoutify. So it's just looks like that little garage sale. So you can basically, it'll put your location in there. You have to put that settings in your phone settings to let it pull where your location is. Now, I've never used the premium, like the paid for, but I just pull up, and you can put different colors on those little flags. Like I want to go to these. Usually, I put green one. I make it green if that's ones I definitely want to go to. Oh, the other thing too, it will. I lost it here. So you can pull up see if these are real ones or not. So you can pull up the flag, and then it will show you more information on that. So this one's an estate sale, and it'll kind of give you the information on that estate sale. So then you can, plug in that you want to go to that. Then you can also push another button and get directions, and it'll link over to one of your other maps. I'm trying to think of which one it uses. I haven't used it for a while. It's been kind of cold here. But that one's a really good one too. The other one, I kind of use both of these on and off. I don't really have a preference, but it's this yard sale. It's called Yard Sale Treasure Map, and it's basically the same idea. So it'll give you, it's just a little bit different look to it. And you can pick which ones you want to go to and make your whole map. It'll take you from place to place on there. So that's a couple things that I use for eBay. The other is estatesales.net, and I guess I signed up for that because I get at least once a week, maybe a couple times a week, I'll get an email from them, and it will do the same thing. It'll give you kind of a list of upcoming estate sales, and you can do it within a certain range, certain number of miles. But here's one thing that I never really paid attention to or realized that it was right there in estatesales.net is the online estate sales. Hey, DG Picker. I have a friend who does quite a bit of eBay, and we were, high school friends and have known each other for a really long time. It's the kind of friend that you talk to every couple of years or every month, or doesn't matter how long we've gone without talking to each other. It's just like we pick up like that. And I didn't realize, I talked to her last summer, and I found out that she had retired she was a pharmacist for many years, and she had retired. She has grandkids now and wanted to spend more time with them, and she had really picked up eBay again. So we've actually been talking a lot, and she does a lot of the online estate sales, to where I've seen the online auctions and that kind of thing, but she does the online, and you go pick it up. So it's, somewhat of local estate sales, and you can, bid through the estate sale. You got to watch for, just like at any kind of auction where you pay a certain percentage. So you got to remember to add that in. And then most of them will have like a time period that you can go pick up. So I haven't done it yet, but I have been looking at some and seen kind of some interesting things, but nothing enough that I wanted to bid on it and go pick it up. The other thing is just Facebook Marketplace. I don't know how many of you, search. I have searches set up for certain items that I look for. Again, I'm not doing a lot of eBay right now, but I would really like to get back into it more. So I do still, keep an eye out on Facebook Marketplace. So the last thing I picked up, if any of you know Legos, I got this guy for $50. I'm only going to pick him up, not all the accessories and everything. Maybe I can just show you in the box. So I don't know if you know Lego Mindstorms, but it's kind of a robotics for kids. And underneath is a whole bunch of extra accessories, and I got the instructions and everything. Hey, Jim. So or I saw it listed, and I picked it up for $50. And if you watch them regularly, I feel like Facebook Marketplace has gone more to eBay pricing. Not all the time, but I see a lot of maybe resellers selling on Facebook Marketplace. So I have seen the prices go up pretty high, and I'll see those for $125, $150. And I saw that listing for $50, and I was like, I just sent the lady a message, and I said, I want to pick this up this afternoon. What time can I come? And she set up a time, and I was so worried that, because we set up 3:00, and I was so worried that somebody would go get, would send her a message saying, hey, I'll pay you $100 or whatever for it. But she was super nice. I went and picked it up. She she called her son down. He showed me how it worked and everything, and so I know that it's in working condition. And once again, something I haven't had listed, but I know that'll go. I mean, that the body itself can sell for 125 dollars on eBay. And I have sold the Mindstorms before. I have sold the big sets, and I actually got those off of Facebook Marketplace too. But the interesting thing was I saw that the listing had gone up literally like 10 minutes before. So if you do keep an eye out for those things, sometimes you can get lucky. And like Drummer was saying, he agrees that the prices have been going up on Facebook Marketplace. But, then again, there's always the shiny object syndrome. People really get into it for a while. Just like a year or two ago, people were doing the super couponing or whatever, and people kind of phase out of it. So, who knows? Maybe the prices will start going down on Facebook Marketplace again, maybe after a while or whatever. But you still can get some pretty good deals out there. I mean, I guess yeah, you got to be quick access. It's just like thrift shops or estate sales, anything. You think, oh my gosh, I'm looking around. My son and I went to an estate sale a while back, and literally there was a VCR, no remote, for $125. Now I'm thinking to myself, I forget what brand it was, but I'm pretty sure at an estate sale, nobody's going to pay $125 for a VCR without a remote. But that place, it had the craziest prices. And I don't think we really picked anything up there, um, but like you never know. I mean, they miss things here and there. I just was saying the other day, I had gone to an estate sale and they had all this costume jewelry. And I was just looking through it. This person was a cat collector because there was cats everywhere in the house, not live ones, but um, she had all this cat jewelry, cat earrings and cat this and that. And I picked up this and that. I think everything was $3. And I can't remember if I went. Usually I go when it's like 50% off or whatever. So I had gone and picked out just 3 or 4 different pieces, I think of Christmas earrings or whatever, and this brooch that just was really pretty. And when I got home, what I realized, I looked in the back and I looked with a magnifying glass or whatever, and it was 14 karat gold, and I paid $3 for it. So, and I ended up selling it for just under 100. So, even though things are expensive on Facebook Marketplace, you just never know what you might run into. Yeah, Heather's saying that she had a lady sell vintage lingerie for 50 cents. And I mean, I know some of that stuff can sell really well on eBay. I know there's people who basically just sell that. Okay, we'll see you later, 24 Picker. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so that's basically, I think that's just about everything that I use for eBay. So now I'll move on to some of the things that I use for Amazon. I have a couple Chrome extensions. One is called How Many, and you basically, when you pull up any listing on Amazon, it takes a few seconds to kind of load, but it will tell you how many each seller has. I think somebody was talking about that there's some service that you can get that for free now, but this also does have an app on the phone. It's very basic looking. It's kind of like good night, Big Daddy. It's kind of like like a Craigslist used to be. Just very basic, the app on the phone. But here's the thing, like I was looking at some craft sets at Christmas time, and the prices are kind of up and down. Oh, not 50 cents a piece, but the whole box. I'm not sure if that's what you're saying or not, but wow, that's a really good deal. Like I said, you just never know. Okay, Daxis is saying, what's it called? So that the Chrome extension is called How Many? And it's a Google Chrome extension. So if you go to the Chrome extension store, it'll just be called How Many? Oh, or estatesales.net. Okay, I think that was what you were asking, Daxis. So yeah, How Many is what the name of the Chrome extension is. So it'll give you a list of, the other way you can do it for free as well. But it takes a while. So you can go to each seller and go like you're going to buy, and I'll say like 99 of them. And usually what'll happen is in your checkout box, it'll say, sorry, this seller only has six. So that is one way to do it for free. But if if there's 20 people on the listing and you're not sure if you want to do it or not, it takes a long time to do it that way. But that is one way to do it for free. So I was looking at some craft sets and they were running anywhere, something that I've sold before. Some of them were selling for $8.95, some for $14.95. I usually like to get the ones that sell for $12.95 or more. And they're all the same brand and everything, the same type of, but they're different animals. So I happen to, hey, Hustle Millennial, how are you doing? An Arkansas deal flipper. Hey. So I'm sorry, I got distracted by the chat there. All right, so I was talking about how many. So I was in the store, I was using the app, and I was trying to figure out which of these animals that I was going to buy. Well, I ended up using the How Many app, and one seller who was selling it a little bit low, because most of them were selling for $12.95, $14.95, and usually at Christmas time they kind of went up. But I was looking up this one that I had sold before, but it was selling for $8.95 right now. Well, sometimes, some seller who has six of them or two of them will throw it up there for $8.95 because they want to get rid of it. And but I looked it up and they had like 210 of them. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get that. So right there, I probably made my $15 back for that month by using the How Many app in the store. I've talked about this before. Sometimes you're using an app, maybe you need it a lot at Christmas time because you're out doing a lot of RA at Christmas time. If you're not using it, if you notice you're not using it for a month or 6 weeks, just go ahead and cancel it. You can always get it back again if you want to use it again. But that's one that I use. Okay, the next one I use is Revseller. Last time I purchased it last year, it was $100 for the year. I'm not sure if you can buy it by the month or not, but I bought it for the year and that was $100. So again, just like the How Many, when you open any listing, it brings up a box and it'll show you the price that it's selling for. It just has all kinds of information. How many sellers are 5% over the buy box? What's the expected, it'll tell you what the average price has been for the last 90 days, what the expected price to be over the next 30 days, all the fees. You can even click a button and it'll tell you how much storage is for every month. And it's one of the reasons that I sent in more than I thought I would in October, like instead of storing a lot down here, because I was telling my son's an Amazon seller as well. And I was telling him, well, I haven't sent all these in yet because I'm kind of waiting and spreading it out a little bit. And he was like, get Revseller and look and see how much the storage fees are. And honestly, they were much less than I thought. It was kind of when they talked about Amazon going up on all their storage fees and everything. And it gets you kind of worried about storage fees and whatever. So that's one thing I love. Revseller will tell you how much the storage fees are. So it just gives you all kind of information anytime you pop up any listing. So that's another one that I use. Brickseek, I've talked about that before. There's the free Brickseek, there's the $10 Brickseek, the $29. I kind of go back and forth when I'm doing a lot of clearance RA or a lot of RA at Walmart, or I don't do a whole lot at Target. So there'll be times when I'm searching for a lot of things and I'll usually go up to one of the paid programs with Brickseek. And other times, when I just want to look up my own, I'm not really looking for deals right now and I'm just I want to look up a product and see where else I can get it. I'll just use the free one. So I've gone back and forth several times, paid for Brickseek or not paid for Brickseek. And again, if you catch yourself not using it for a while, don't just keep paying monthly for it. You can just, let the subscription go and then renew it again when you need to use it. Another one I pay for is Quickbooks Online, but I have to say, for the longest time, I did bookkeeping and taxes all my life. I've been a 1099 person for a really long time. I did work for small businesses and stuff, and I've always done my taxes and always done my bookkeeping, and I always hated it. And I think it was at the Green Room meetup last year. Craig was talking about not only outsourcing things that well, everybody talks about outsource what you don't like. So that was one of the things that I did. I had a CPA do my taxes last year for the first time in, I mean, 45 years, I guess. I mean, I've worked ever since I was 13, 14, 15, 16. So, of course, I don't think I started doing taxes till I was 16. But um, anyway, I hired a CPA last year and he did my taxes. And it was very nice. I mean, it was a lot off my plate. And then he came back to me and he said, for this much a month, I'll do your bookkeeping, your sales tax, your payroll taxes. I do have one part-time employee. Um, just everything. And I'm really cheap and I don't like to pay for anything that I can do myself. So I really struggled back and forth. But I went ahead and took him up on that and included in his fee because I always just used QuickBooks Desktop. And I really hated to go to the subscriptions because I feel like, I mean, all of the software seems to be going to subscriptions, and I feel like it's kind of a ripoff because you don't really own anything. But he assured me that even if you drop the subscription for 30, 60, 90 days, you could still go back and get your information out of there. Depends on what your time's worth. That's really, really true. And I can't tell you the freedom that I have felt from having the CPA. So on the first, second, third of every month, I send him my all my paperwork, and within like a week, I get my P&Ls for the month, um, all that kind of stuff, and he just takes care of all my taxes, all that. So anyway, and I just uploaded all my paperwork for my taxes. And I mean, literally, maybe I spent 30 minutes just gathering it all up, scanning it and sending it to him. So that was fantastic. But anyway, so I do use QuickBooks Online. The funny or really not so funny thing, every time I talk to him a couple times a month, I say, I really wish you would show me how to use QuickBooks Online because it's so different than the old desktop version that I really, if I want to go look for something, it seems to be really hard to do. So and he always says yes, and we always say we're going to do it, but it's my fault as much as his or whatever because I haven't really set a time to do that. But I have not learned QuickBooks Online well yet. If I have to, I can find something in it. But um, so I was going to say move on, but actually the most important tool that I use for Amazon, I think, is Inventory Labs. And I did start out with Amazon doing a spreadsheet. And when I bought something, I listed where I bought it, the date I bought it, cost of goods, and then the date I sold it, how much I sold it for. Um, I just had several columns, and it was a lot of work to keep up with that. I would try every 4 or 5 days to put in all my sales and everything. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, or if you can't afford the $50 a month yet, to just start out that way. But I'd say by the fourth or fifth month, I think I got Inventory Labs. And not only does that track everything for you, I mean, okay, so when you list it, I've got my handy dandy Bluetooth scanner. And so I scan an item. I'm looking for something with a barcode here. So, I just scan the item, I scan the UPC code, and it pulls it up in Inventory Labs. It pulls up the listing in Amazon, kind of. Um, it pulls up the ASIN. And from there, you can key in um, your cost of goods, where you bought it, and the date you bought it. And it will track all that. So you can even, like what I was just doing this week was looking back last year to see what I was selling this week. Yes, you can pull it up from your Amazon account and that kind of thing, but it's real easy to use in Inventory Labs. There's all kinds of reports. You can do your P&L through your Inventory Labs if you track all your expenses and everything there as well. But every time you scan an item and then you go ahead and put it into Amazon, it prints out your Dymo label, so you can you don't have to use the 30 ups. Like, so when you're doing a regular Amazon shipment through Amazon, at the end you can print your labels. Well, then you go back and you find each one of those products and label one at a time. But when you're using Inventory Labs and you use a Dymo printer, which will print out one label at a time or six of the same if you have six of this one product. So it's just very time saving. And you, especially when you're doing books, it's not hard to maybe make a mistake and put it on the wrong book. So that's helpful in that way. But I love Inventory Labs. And now after the first year, I went ahead and paid for 1 year at a time. And I think with the discount, it comes out to be about, you pay sort of for 10 months, but you get 12, something like that. And what I tried to do last year was pay for it just before the end of the year, so it would kind of roll into my last year's taxes for expenses. But I didn't think about it ahead of time, and it ended up going into the next year's. It ended up, I think, renewing like January 10th or something. So that didn't work out. But anyway, I still got the savings, and so I just pay for it once a year. Would have been nicer to pay it out of December sales, because obviously that's a little higher than my January sales. But anyway, it's all fine. So I think it was, let's see, Millennial Hustle was asking, have I heard about people getting kicked out of Target? For reselling. I actually, the auction professor talked about it the other day. He said he was in there for a couple of hours and they kicked him out for loitering. But, and actually my son was trying to do multiple, $20 off 100, $25 off 100. So he was making more than one sale, and he was doing it at the self checkout. And the manager came over to him and said, hey, you can't do that or whatever. And so he was like, okay, I'll just took his packages that he had already rung up and was leaving. And she said, no, wait, you have to put everything back from that cart. And he just looked at her and he's like, look, I'll buy the stuff out of the cart, but if you won't let me buy the stuff out of the cart, then I'm not putting it. I don't think she said he could never come back in the store. I don't think that was like a year ago or something. But I mean, not that I don't ever, hey, Lou Hustles. Yeah, I'm live. Hopefully I'm not messing up too much. I feel like I'm jumping around a lot, but I think the chat's a little bit distracting. So no, I haven't heard about, large swaths of resellers getting kicked out of Target. I think the big thing is that people don't want, okay, so they have lost leaders, they have a sale every week and they practically give away stuff so that, to bring in the store, and they want you to buy a lot more when you're in there. I don't think they really care if you're buying a lot of clearance stuff. Yes, they probably don't want you abusing the 25 off $100 in toys, doing it 10 times. I did hear about people, okay, it was the deal at Christmas time. I had done it the year before, a couple of them, where you, I think, bought a $100 gift card and got a $10 gift card for free. And there was some people who had bought, many, many of those, and they did like cancel the sale somehow to make the cards not valid. But I think most people ended up getting a refund on that. So it's really, they just don't really want you to abuse the system. But I don't think anybody's ever gotten kicked out for, buying a bunch of clearance or, not like abusing the system, if you want to call it, the coupons or, the 25 off 100, that kind of thing. So, that's just my knowledge of Target, I guess. So Blackberry Thistle Tea is asking if I'm afraid to travel overnight by myself. I mean, I do it quite a bit. I usually only go for a couple days at a time, because I was saying earlier, by the second or third day, my husband's calling me saying, when are you coming home? When are you coming home? I'm pretty careful. I kind of feel out what side of town I shouldn't be on after dark. I always stay in a hotel that has, a lobby, so the doors are on the inside. That's a thing that my husband kind of has. And I don't I don't shop too late if I'm by myself, especially. If I'm in a town, like there's a certain part of Charlotte. I go to Charlotte every couple months, and there used to be a Toys R Us down in Pineville, and I didn't mind kind of going there after dark. And when I say after dark, I mean, not like 6:30 when it's dark, 6:30. Yes, Daxus, he does love me and worry about me. We've been married 33 years now, so he's really good about letting me be me though and letting me be a reseller. He just doesn't want to have to do it himself. And he does come with me once in a while too. So, all right, so that answers those couple questions in the chat. So we'll get back to, I guess, the last few things. So I went over some of the things. I went over how many Gsalr, Merchant Words, Brickseek, QuickBooks Online. The other thing I use is Keepa, and I have the Chrome extension of Keepa. So every time I pull up a listing, thanks, David. Every time I pull up a listing, the Keepa Chrome extension. Again, it takes sometimes a few seconds to load, but I see the Keepa chart on everything that I pull up. And that's even just on Amazon.com. I don't have to be in Seller Central or anything. Drummer, I know certain parts of Charlotte can be sketchy. So I actually have a couple friends that live over there, and I'll say to them, can I go to this spot? Yeah, so I'm pretty careful. That was down in Pineville, and I feel like, especially that Toys R Us, you could just sort of drive right up to the door and in and out. But I'm pretty good. Usually what happens is, by 7, 8 o'clock, I'm back at the hotel and processing. Yeah, so anyway. So Keep extension comes up every time. Okay, Lou Hustles. I haven't tried Channel Max. I don't remember for the year, but like I sold 2,500 items in December. So, I mean, I have a fairly decent sized Amazon store, and I don't have a repricer. And I really, really, really should. And so I have been saying for the last couple weeks, that's my next thing I'm going to do is get a repricer. Now, I saw a lot of toys, which I want to be moving out of so many toys. I never started Amazon to only sell toys. I had kind of started in the fourth quarter of 2016. And okay, I'll get to that, Jim. Give me a sec. I started at the fourth quarter of 2016, and I, was selling toys. And I thought, well, now I got to figure out what to sell after Christmas. But then I was seeing a lot of toys on clearance or whatever. So I was like, gee, toys really sell in January, and toys really sell in February and March and April. And although I've added some categories, I have added, household, I've added some kitchen things, I've added a little bit of decorative Christmas. I really haven't gotten much into the other holidays, but I really need to be doing that. After I saw some of the stuff that sold, like household stuff that sold at Christmas time, I really want to be looking at some Easter household stuff. But lost my train of thought. Toys. Oh, poop. I knew this would happen at some point. Let me see. Somebody in the chat remind me what I was talking about. I started out with toys. It had something to do with toys. Moving into other stuff. Oh, repricing. That's right. So here's the thing, though. I don't sell super hot toys. And I think if you are selling really hot items, that you do need a repricer. More than I do. But that is the next thing that I need to be doing. Because if I want to, I think if I want to move up, okay, so I doubled my sales from 2017 to 2018, but now I'm noticing a little bit, that I'm having a harder time. Obviously, I'm probably not going to double my sales this year, but I really definitely wanted to increase my sales. And starting in February and March last year, the Toys R Us was starting to go out of business. So I was doing a lot. I mean, I think I added it up and I went to 33 Toys R Us from Florida, Georgia, North and South Carolina, Alabama. So anyway, repricer's next. But no, so I haven't used Channel Max. I have heard of it, but I really want to do a little bit of research. And there are some differences between BQL, I can't remember how to say it exactly, Channel Max, and then the other one that's changed names recently. That one's a little more expensive, and my son said he didn't think I needed that one, but I definitely need to do something. So as I learn a little bit more about repricers, I will talk to you about that. Let me just read Jim's question real quick. He had a question earlier about what corporation is best for retail arbitrage. I guess you mean which stores, and maybe you mean which are friendly to resellers. I guess I'll answer in a couple different ways. So, yeah, Drummer, a lot of other stores had a lot of toys this year, and I think a lot of it had to do with that Toys R Us was going out of business or had gone out of business, and there was just toys left over for other companies to purchase. I really don't shop at Payless Shoes, so. Oh, okay. Now I see what you're saying, Jim. You're going to set up a corporation better. Okay. So you're asking about LLC versus incorporation. So I started out as a sole proprietor. And then when I wanted to, really do this as a business, I started an LLC. One of the reasons I started an LLC was in my county. I wanted to get a business checking account. And let's see if I can do something here. I wanted to get a business checking account, and I wanted it not in my personal name. I wanted it in the business name. So you can do doing business as and just use it that way. But it costs $300 in my county to do a DBA through the county. So, and I needed that to be able to do it on my checking account. So I talked to a CPA, and it was just a little cheaper if I did myself an LLC. And he said, if you feel like you're going to continue in this and be doing better with that, you're probably going to want to move into an LLC anyway. So that's what I ended up doing. I did an LLC. There wasn't any problem changing from, in Amazon. What I did was I changed my checking account information the day after payout so that it would have a couple weeks to to change up and make sure there wasn't any problems before my next payout. And then I changed from my social security number to an EIN. And I had no problems with Amazon. That went really well. After another year, I went back to the CPA and talked with him, and he decided that I should move for tax reasons to be S corp. So I have changed to that. And yeah, see, it depends on your state, your county. I mean, everything, there are different costs. That's why I say I would go see a CPA. Usually they'll give you like a 15-minute or a 30-minute for free. Kind of go over things with you. They might not answer every question, but they might tell you, what's best for you in your case. And I would say it's really different. And like I said, I would have just done the DBA had it been like $50 or something. But since that was $300, and I want to say I was only $200 to change to an LLC, and then I was able to use my business name in the business checking. So that's how I did it. I think the only last thing that I have missed is that I use MileIQ. So the very first year, I was like, oh, I'll keep track of my mileage, no problem. And I really didn't the first year much at all. And I ended up having to do a lot of looking back through receipts and literally, checking my mileage and adding it all up or whatever. So then 2017, I said, okay, I'm going to be really good about this. I got myself a calendar, and every single day I was writing down my sales and my mileage and what stores I went to. And I did really well in January and really felt really well in February. And then if you look back at my calendar, like I did half of March, and then I just did it here and there. And I ended up doing that, going back through all my receipts. I mean, I would sit there watching TV at night and okay, today I went from to this Target to this Goodwill, whatever, and work out my mileage on Google Maps. I said I will never do that again, and I paid $59 for Mile IQ, and I used it all last year. And every month, at the end of the month, I get a report of how many miles I went. So it's as easy as I don't know if I could pull it up here, but you okay? I'll show you where I went this weekend. Let's see if I can find it real quick. So you literally, it'll tell you, I've driven 2,351 miles in February. And I mean, I've taken several long trips, but I will just like, let's see if you can see that. So I would just swipe this way for business, and I can just choose that was a sourcing trip. Or you can go the other direction for personal. So you can track your personal and your business, and you can print out just your business miles. And I will tell you that your mileage, at least for me personally, I drive a lot. I do pretty much all RA. I have 3 wholesale accounts, and I probably made like 3 wholesale purchases last year. I may be adding a little more of that back, but I do a lot of driving around. So you also track going to the post office, dropping off at UPS, going to FedEx, going to Staples to buy boxes, any of those things you track. And that ends up being, one of my biggest write-offs every month. You do it a little different as a corporation, but you still get to do the mileage. And when you're doing your taxes at the end of the year, yeah, Mile IQ is the one I use. I know there's different ones, but and I think you get something like you can use the free version and you get like 14 trips a month for free. But I literally, because it'll do it from my house to the post office, then post office to the store, the first store to the second store. Each one of those is a trip. So, I mean, I was done with my free in one day or something. So, yeah, again, you can pay monthly for that, but I paid $59 for the year. Taxes is saying 58 cents. Oh, 50, yeah, 58 cents a mile. Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't realize that. What used to be 55 55 cents a mile, I think. Yeah, so it really, really adds up. You definitely want to keep track of your mileage. Oh, for 2019. Okay, yeah, it just even at even at 55 cents, it adds up really fast. That can pay you back for your gas. You know, I keep it sort of in a separate fund, and I'll, buy new tires, my oil changes, gas, all those kind of things. I mean, you can use it for whatever you want, but I obviously put a lot of miles on our vehicles by doing the RA. I had 2 more quick things I just wanted to show you. So, my favorite boxes, and maybe you care, maybe you don't care, I don't know. But when I'm traveling, I like Lowe's boxes. And the reason that is because when you buy let's see if I can show that. So the 24 by 20 by 20 from Home Depot or most stores, the 24 inches is 24 inches tall, and they're harder to stack in the vehicle. So this is the Lowe's boxes of the 24 by 24, 24 by 20 by 20 is the long way. So you can usually stack a couple. I rented a car. I went to the Green Room meetup in Austin, and I rented a car, and I got off the plane and I drove straight to the Toys R Us. They had 2 there. This was in June, so it was really close to when they were closing for good. And I rented a medium-sized car, or it might have even been large. And I I went sourcing. I I forgot that in Austin they don't give you bags, so I just put it all back in the grocery cart and filled my trunk. So then I got to the hotel and I walked in the door and I said to the lady, "Do you have any trash bags?" And she said, "Oh, all I have is a really big garbage bag." I was like, "That would be great. Can I have a few of those?" Hey, Thrifty Treasures. So I took the garbage bags into the hotel, or sorry, out to my car, and I just filled and filled. A lot of it, luckily, a lot of it was baby clothes, so it didn't really. wasn't really a problem to just pile it all into these trash bags. So I'm lugging all these trash bags into the hotel, and I got everything processed and packed up in there. And now I bring these boxes down to my car. And luckily, I had these because I had, like I said, actually, it was a full size car, is what I rented, but it was a Nissan Altima, and the trunk opening was really small. So I was able to like shove a couple of those boxes in there, and then I was able to stand up three, I think, in the back seat. But anyway, the Lowe's boxes I like when I'm traveling because I like to be able to stack them. They stack better in the back of the RAV and they stack better in the truck. So if you've seen some of my other videos, instead of buying a van last year, my husband had an F-150, and so we bought the camper top, a shell, and I actually have as much room as the small cargo van in there. But it is nice to stack those Lowe's boxes the long way. But the other boxes that I just love, and it's just a silly little thing, I guess, but um, they have two or three sizes of boxes that do this, and I don't know if you can tell from, but they're not really perforated, but they're sort of have a fold in them, so you can cut them down to different sizes super easy. And I know I have my box resizer, but this literally just takes 2 seconds. You just cut the corners and fold it down to any size you want. And I don't know about you, but when I'm doing my Amazon shipments, I swear it's always, 20 minutes before the UPS guy is about to show up. I never really know when he's going to show up. He's scheduled to come between 5:30 and 7:30 every day, or every time I have a shipment ready. And the days that I'm rushing, and trying to get done, sometimes he knocks on the door and I'm like, I just have the labels to put on. But it just, any little thing that can even save you 5 minutes of your time. That's what I love about these boxes because they just cut down so easy. So I made it through my first live video. I hope, that was some good information for you. I really appreciate everybody being here. I just really, really appreciate it. And I hope I didn't ramble and just change subjects and check the chat and jump around too much. But oh, thank you. This will be, and I will try and figure out how to get some wrenches for next time. And I will be back next week. I don't know what if I'll be doing live again or coming to you from my ramblings from the road. But again, really appreciate everything. And I am on Instagram, Lou Hustles. I don't do a lot on there right now, but I will try and shoot you some pictures here and there. And the other thing that I don't do is I'll let you know when another video is coming. I will do that on there. So I'm She Sells by Sue on Instagram as well. Thinking about doing a Facebook page just to kind of share information easier. I'm trying to learn how to do putting the links underneath my video and all that. I think because I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet or whatever that I don't know if I have the capability to do all those things. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. Like and subscribe, and we will see you soon. Bye bye.